Okay, so Pokemon UltraSun and UltraMoon just got announced, so I thought I would make this video because already I'm seeing like hundreds of comments about people being upset that this is not Pokemon Stars. So I just wanted to do like a quick little discussion about Pokemon third versions. Uh, so if we take a look, if we go back for in a sense the original third version, I'm not certain of the order of it, but there was both Pokemon Blue and Pokemon Yellow. Blue was kind of like a bit more of a better version of Red and Green in a sense. We Japan had red and green, then they got blue, which is kind of a better version. No real change to it at all, just kind of just better, graphically better, and that's also the version that we in America got. We got red and blue instead of red and green. But then they also made yellow, and yellow was kind of an adaptation of the anime, in which you use Pikachu, and there are certain things that are kind of like forced on you. Like you can obtain all three starters. You can your rival uses an Eevee, and then depending on how you do in the game, the Eevee will evolve into different things. Like, you can catch Butterfree, but not Beedrill, because in the anime, Ash caught a Butterfree, but not a Beedrill. But in a sense, that kind of style of the third version has kind of been dropped. I don't think anybody really expects any sort of yellow at this point. So then we have to move on to Crystal. We had Gold and Silver, then we had Crystal. Crystal kind of had a little bit more of a focus on Suicune, but in a sense it really didn't do much different other than having a little bit of a different focus on the legendaries. You get Suicune kind of earlier in the game, you get Ho-Oh and Lugia later in the game. And that one was kind of weird because you could think of like in the third versions you might say like, in this game, in Diamond and Pearl, you could get Dialga and Giratina, or you could get Palkia and Giratina, but in Platinum you can get Giratina and Dialga and Palkia. But in Gold and Silver, you could get both Ho-Oh and Lugia. In a sense, the version mascot thing hadn't exactly been fully put in quite yet. So, in a sense, the third version was just, once again, kind of the exact same thing. Yellow was different. Crystal was pretty much the same thing. And Heart Gold and Soul Silver incorporated a few of the elements that was in Crystal. So then we got to hop up to the next generation. We had Ruby and Sapphire. Then much later, after Fire and Leaf Green, came Emerald. And this was probably the Yellow. Yellow was a good case for a third version because it incorporated some of the anime elements. So it's kind of that harmonizing stuff. It's like how they made the trading card game into a video game, also. But Emerald was also good because Ruby and Sapphire kind of had different stories that really had no effect on what you did in the game, because in a sense, just in one, Team Aqua replaced Team Magma, so you get rain instead of heat. It's really the same, but Emerald combined those two, so they're both kind of villainous teams. So I think that in a sense makes the most sense. It puts each of their bases in the correct place. Team Aqua's near the water, and Team Magma's near a volcano. That makes the most sense. It kind of makes it the definitive version of the story. But at the same time, it's like, who cares? But it did add the Battle Frontier. That's what everybody loved. That kind of big, unique Battle Frontier with all these different facilities was kind of continued in Generation 4. But it was also that's where it started. And everybody loved that. But that was kind of an addition. A new gameplay feature. Are you seeing what I'm getting at? Not yet? Okay. So we're gonna move on to Platinum. Now, Platinum, the original Diamond and Pearl, they really went real small with the decks. There were only 151 Pokemon in the Sinnoh decks only that during the main game, just like in the original games. 151. But a lot of these Sinnoh Pokemon they introduced, like Licky Licky or I don't know, Porygon Z, Leafeon, Glaceon, a lot of those guys were evolutions to previous Pokemon, and only a few of them, like Roserade, Budew, Mismagius, Honchkrow, only a few of those guys were actually in Diamond and Pearl during the main game. In fact, what was kind of funny is that Tangela, you couldn't actually catch Tangela in Diamond and Pearl. So the only way you could get Tangrowth was if you transferred Tangela up. But Platinum, it greatly increased the decks by bringing back all these guys. They also had like a few more guys like Houndoom or Tropius. No reason to be there, just to make the. I think it was to make the decks like a nice round 250 or 300, something like that. And it also had some stuff with Giratina. It had a few new online features. Had the distortion world. All sorts of stuff like that. And it also added a few new characters like Looker and that other guy who's in Team Plasma. I don't really know. I'm currently playing through Platinum, so I don't know all the differences, but I'm pretty certain I accounted for all of them. So yeah, add a lot of new stuff, revamped it, and because Diamond and Pearl were so slow, it was nice to have. It's nice to have Platinum because it's faster. It is a faster game. You surf faster. You have some things that move around faster. Yeah. Now, for a lot of people, that's where the third versions ended, because they had black and white, but then they didn't have gray. But that's where people. That's why I fear a lot of people are very limited in their definition of a third version, because I would call Black 2 and White 2, in a sense, a third version. They're sequels to Black and White. They take place like 2 years into the future. But I think that's what makes this so much better than the third version, is because you're going through and you're actually playing a new game. You have a lot of reused assets. But if you're somebody like me, where you just want to play through Pokemon games and you just want to use as many of the various Pokemon as possible, because I mean, look at me, I'm crazy. I use teams of 8. Sun and Moon, I used a team of 36 different Pokemon that I actually did evenly use throughout the whole adventure. I'm crazy. I just want to use all the Pokemon. I've used Shuckle on my team before. It's stupid. But Black 2 and White 2, they revamped it because there were only new Pokemon in the main game in Black and White. So they kind of did what Platinum did, where they brought a whole bunch of new Pokemon. It's not new. Old guys in. They mixed it up. They added new areas. Like the first 4 cities in that area are new areas. Then you get to Castelia City. And all of those areas that were on the right portion of the map, like New Vema Town, heading up to there, Striaton, those aren't in the main game. It has different story elements that continue stuff from before. So that's what I think makes it much better than like Platinum or Emerald or Yellow. And I don't know. It's weird. This whole third version stuff is weird because it's like Crystal didn't add anything. It just didn't add anything. And Yellow was an anime thing that's not going to be done again. So really the only third versions we have to go off of, the true third versions, are Emerald, which existed to combine the stories, and Platinum, which I don't know. They're the definitive versions, but at this point it's like, imagine if they did Z and they did the same thing that Platinum and Emerald did. That would be stupid, because there's already 450 Pokemon in that Pokedex. What, you can add more? The whole point of having like all those Mirage spots in Omega Ruby Alpha Sapphire was to make it so you could catch all of the legendaries, make it so between XY, Omega Ruby, and Alpha Sapphire, between those 4 games, they would have, and the 20th anniversary distributions where they distributed every mythical Pokemon, except for like the brand new guys like Hoopa and Magearna and Hoopa, Diancie, and Volcanion, which, you know, were just recently given out. Between all those things, every single Pokemon would be available in Omega Ruby Alpha Sapphire, so that way you don't need to use Pokemon Bank in order to actually at least get these Pokemon in the game. Whew. Sun and Moon. Sun Moon was great. It was excellent. And now they got UltraSun and UltraMoon, which, when I first looked at it, I kind of thought it was like, oh, this is kind of be like Black 2 and White 2. It's going to be sequels. But in a sense, now it looks like they're kind of doing an alternate story. So it might kind of be like a third version, which I really don't see. If there's going to, just look at the fact that there's like the Necrozma version of Solgalea and Lunala. It's going to have some new story elements. It's going to be doing something different. It may be a sequel. It may actually take place 1 year later. Who knows? uh, it's the end of the game left a lot of stuff to do. Like Lily had matured a lot, so we might be continuing her story. That might be high hopes. Yes, as simple as saying maybe a character's story will be continued. When it comes to Pokemon, anything continuing is a high hope. But yeah, so they express it as an alternate story. So it could be possible that it's going to have some different elements, that you're going to have some different trials. I mean, this clearly could be have some different trials. The little like trailer park area where you revive the fossils, it appears there's going to be some sort of Pikachu thing there. There's no way there's not going to be some new characters. We'll probably see some sort of different interaction between Team Skull and the Aether Foundation. Maybe in this game, the Aether Foundation will actually be good guys, and Team Skull will be the bad guys. But all that sounds to me like the third version. Pokemon Stars. Is that not what this game is? Is this not Stars? When you played Emerald, the tree sprites were different. When you played Platinum, there was snow in the hometown. They had the same graphical changes and minor features added that UltraSun and UltraMoon are going to have. And the same ones that Stars would have. Are you guys upset that you're not going to have Stars and be able to get all 300 Pokemon in the Alola Dex in one game? Because you couldn't do that in Yellow. You couldn't catch Beedrill. You couldn't catch Eevee. You might not... I don't think you were even able to catch Rattata. Maybe it was Meowth, but there were some other guys like that. In Crystal, they didn't bring back the fossils that were in that game. You still need to play Red or Blue or Yellow or Green in order to get those fossils to transfer them up. Didn't fix that. Emerald only had Solrock. It didn't have Lunatone. Platinum, Stunky and Glameow were version exclusives in Diamond and Pearl. So they weren't even in Platinum. Didn't fix that. So I just don't really see what all the fuss is about. I suppose, in a sense, I can see some of the issues here. One of the issues could be that it's not Diamond and Pearl remakes. But to me, that's a matter... To me, first of all, I did recently just buy Platinum, so in a sense I'm already going through Sinnoh again, so that's enough for me. But these remakes are always a matter of when, not if. In a sense, you could have thought that remaking Fire Red, Leaf Green was so you could play them on the new systems, because there was a split between Generation 2 and Generation 3 where you could no longer transfer Pokemon. And so that's why they also made Heart Gold and Soul Silver. But because they made Omega Ruby and Alpha Sapphire, that means that making remakes is just their business model at this point. We're going to have new games and we're going to have remakes. So Sinnoh will come at some point. In a sense, I loved Omega Ruby and Alpha Sapphire so much. They're legitimately my favorites. I've put 360 hours into those games. It's crazy. And I'm so glad that those came in Generation 6 instead of Generation 5. So, Sinnoh. Switch is out. Everybody wants it on the Switch. I personally don't. I have a 3DS, but don't have a Switch. I'd rather keep stuff on the 3DS. So, yeah, Sinnoh remakes will come out for Switch. That's what'll happen. And that'll be better. Right? And in a sense, if UltraSun and UltraMoon, that you're thinking they could have come out for Switch, well, that's true, but at the same time, I kind of don't care. That's just me. Yeah. And also, we got like months to go. They're going to announce a whole bunch of stuff that you guys are going to go crazy for. We're going to get new Alola forms. You know that for a fact. Or we might get more Mega Evolutions. Who knows? We know all the new. You know that they're going to be adding a whole bunch of different online features, single player features. They might be adding more battle frontier kind of things. All new Alola forms. They might be bringing more Pokemon. This is exactly the stars you were asking for. And every time that a remake is delayed, that just means it'll be in the next generation and it'll be even better.